Hello, I'm the Commander Zander. I remember it so that a nostalgia critic doesn't have to, and neither should you. Well, seeing as how the new season of Power Rangers kicks off this weekend, I figured it's that time to take a look at my favorite Power Rangers seasons. Or my favorite seasons of Power Rangers, I should say. Because Power Rangers is a very important part of my childhood, as is just about everyone's childhood. Because one way or another, you grew up watching the Power Rangers, 5 overly obnoxious teenagers, as Zordon would say, protect the galaxy to save the world from evil. Unfortunately, it's gone down the tube, and particularly since Nickelodeon took over. Go figure, anything Nickelodeon does is poison. But this downfall happened before Nickelodeon really put it down the shit tube. Starting with SPD, Power Rangers kinda really wasn't that great, and just fizzled after that. Its last really good season was Dino Thunder, and that's mainly because you had Tommy in there. As long as you have Tommy, of course it's gonna be relevant. But it's still something to celebrate, and for that, I applaud that. So with that, I'm gonna list my top 12 favorite seasons of Power Rangers. Why top 12? Because I like to one-up the nostalgia critic. Now, keep in mind that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, as well as Power Rangers Samurai, Megaforce, and the current Dino Charge, each had multiple seasons, so I'm gonna count each of them as a separate season and throw them into the list. Otherwise, all is fair in this list. So with that, let's take a look at the top 12 favorite seasons of Power Rangers of mine. Number 12, Power Rangers Samurai. Yeah, I know, this was a okay season, but seeing as how after SPD things were really down the shit tubes, that's why it's pretty much at the bottom of my list. This was the first season from Nickelodeon, and that Nickelodeon picked up for Power Rangers after its reboot. And this was also the first one that Saban was part of again after its separation with Power Rangers. Okay, so what's the deal? There's a big pirate ship full of evil demons, and the Samurai Power Rangers have to go and fight crime and save the day. Seems pretty ordeal, just like any other Power Rangers. But this is a good one, and one thing I like about this, it redefined the theme song that is the Go-Go Power Rangers. They kind of modified it for the current times, but it's still a good season of Power Rangers. It's not the best one, and quite frankly, it's middle of the pack, which, seeing as how there's a bunch of other shitty Power Rangers beforehand and after. But Samurai deserves to be on the list, because at least it's decent enough, and it's Nickelodeon's first crack at pulling off this superhero team. Number 11. Power Rangers Super Megaforce. Yeah, I know. I'm skipping Megaforce because, well, Megaforce was blah. But there's one good thing with Super Megaforce. And I know that that there are a lot of complaints that, ooh, with Super Megaforce, this idea just proves that they're running out of ideas for Power Rangers. That idea that I'm referring to is the fact that the Power Rangers Super Megaforce can use the powers of past Power Rangers to defeat evil. And I know a lot of people are thinking, well, that just proves that they're running out of ideas, that we have to bring Power Rangers of the past in. I, for one, happen to like this idea, because it brings back the old nostalgic Power Rangers for the new audience to witness that we, as an older generation, remember from our childhood. I, for one, think it's a clever idea, and Super Megaforce deserves to be on the list because of it. Overall, again, it was a decent season, not great compared to past Power Rangers seasons. But the fact that you could relive all those Power Rangers of the past with this season is a really good idea, and that is good enough to make my list. Number 10, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2. Yeah, I know, Mighty Morphin was in 3 seasons. Quite frankly, I'm not doing the 3rd season because when you lost Jason and whoever the Yellow Ranger was, and then whoever the Black Ranger was, I can't remember because, well, yeah, you get the point. In any case, Season 2 was probably the second best, which makes sense considering is how that, well, there you go. In this one, Lord Zed takes over as the evil one, and this is where Tommy is starting to lose his Green Ranger powers. It finally disappears, but he comes back as the White Ranger. Also, Jason and The old Yellow Ranger and the old Black Ranger, again, I can't remember names. I apologize if I can't remember the names. You can mention them in the comment section. They pretty much move on and are replaced by 3 new Rangers. Adam, Rocky, and I think it was, Aisha. There you go. See, I'm looking right now. Now I remember. Oh, it's Zach and Trini and Jason. So there you go. First half of season 2 was okay. Second half and then third season of Mighty Morphin was, but they would recover. And I'll get to that later. Number 9, Power Rangers Turbo. Yes, this is another one of those seasons where they transition Ranger powers. Tommy, Cat, there we go, and the rest are all back, but this time as Turbo Rangers. Why Turbo? Well, why not? I mean, come on, you get to rev stuff up, and besides, it got ripped off by RPM eventually, which proves that Power Rangers is running out of ideas. I know I'm babbling about that. Eventually, they have to move on because, well, let's face it, they've just graduated from high school. There comes a point where you're going to be too old to be Power Rangers. Just like with Toy Story, there comes a point where you have to be where you're too old to have these toys. So they pass on their powers to the new generation of Power Rangers, and those Rangers are TJ, Carlos, Ashley, Cassie. Oh, and there's also the Phantom Ranger, and oh, by the way, they get stuck in pizza. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Power Rangers Turbo was a decent season. Not one of its better ones of the old seasons, but not too bad. The one before it, though, is one notch above. Number 8, Power Rangers Zeo. Tommy, Ken, and the others are back. They had just lost their Mighty Morphin powers, and they discover the Zeo Crystal, which gives them new powers. Hence, the Zeo Rangers. Tommy's the Red Ranger, Zeo Ranger 5. Cat is the Pink Ranger. Tanya becomes the Yellow Ranger. Rocky becomes the Blue Ranger, and Adam is the Green Ranger. Jason does come back as the Gold Ranger, even though he's in black. Why not just dub him the Black Ranger? I mean, seriously, if he's all in black with the exception of the gold thingamajiggy, why is he called the Gold Ranger again? That's besides the point. Zeo Rangers is a good season because, well, it pretty much picks up from where Mighty Morphin left up, and it was a good season that they badly needed after season 3 was and Alien Rangers was but it still doesn't crack the top 5, nor does this next one, but it's still a good one. Number 7, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1, the one that started it all. And I know there's going to be a bunch of you that are going to complain, why the hell do I have the first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that low on the list? Trust me, I'll get to that later. There are a lot of other Power Rangers that are equally as good, if not better, than Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And this one does deserve to be on the list. But I don't think it's as high, in my opinion, compared to other Power Ranger seasons. But in this one, Rita Repulsa is freed. And it's time to conquer Earth. Zordon then summons 5 overbearing teenagers to use the power of the dinosaurs to fight evil. So Rita counters with a Green Ranger of her own, hence Tommy. But the curse is gone, Tommy becomes a Green Ranger and he joins, and then there's 6 Rangers and they fight their way and battle evil. It's a really good season and a great way to get Power Rangers going. I wish I could put it up higher, but there are other Power Rangers seasons that, in my opinion, are better. Starting with number 6. Power Rangers Dino Thunder. And I know there are a lot of you thinking, well, wait a minute, how come they're on top? It's technically a duplicate of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers because all they're using are dinosaur power. In my opinion, Dino Thunder is slightly better for starters. I mean, come on, you got Tommy back. But secondly, I think the plot's really good in this one. Now, granted, this kind of duplicates Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but then again, just about everything is duplicating past Power Rangers nowadays, so why bother? Case in point, Dino Charge. But with Dino Thunder, Tommy has been years removed from being a Power Ranger, and now he's a professor. Actually, he's a teacher of a high school, go figure. There's 3 new kids. One who's a jock, if you will. Go figure, he's the leader. He makes the perfect Red Ranger at that point. One who likes to sing, and one who's a brainiac with technology. Mesogog is the evil villain in this one, and my god, he is a terrific villain. So these four have to fight him off. Then Trent comes in and he becomes a White Ranger, which is an evil ranger, but Trent is good. He's just been warped by the evilness of the White Ranger until he gets evil no more. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert. His father, Trent's father, is Mesogog. There you go. This also marks the return of the crossover where the past generation of Rangers combines with the current generation to fight the evil. In this case, it's Ninja Storm merging with Dino Thunder to stop Lothor and Mesogog. And by golly, this was a good two-parter. Clearly not going to be as great as the past ones, but you get the idea. All in all, I say this is a terrific, terrific season. Number 5, Power Rangers in Space. This was supposed to be the original end of the Power Rangers because, well, Zordon gets destroyed at the end. Yes, that's right. He's sacrificed so that the evil can go away. But the Turbo Rangers, with the exception of the Blue Ranger, have to go into space to try and stop Thief attacks. That's right, man. Instead, there's a new evil, Astronomer. And they meet up with Andros, who is the Red Ranger. And they go and stop her, as well as all the other evil. I, for one, happen to like this season. I don't know what you're thinking. Where's Lost Galaxy in this? Well, quite frankly, Lost Galaxy was good, but the only reason it was good is because you had arguably the greatest Ranger of all time, the Magnet Defender. Oh, by the way, the Space Ranger returned to, Lost Galaxy for the first of the crossovers, and by golly, was it a terrific one. Space was a terrific season, and it was supposed to be the end of it, but it wasn't. Lost Galaxy was good, but there are other Rangers after Space that were as good, if not better. Number 4, Power Rangers Wild Force. Power Rangers Wild Force was an awesome, awesome season. Okay, so here's the plot. You've got Cole, Taylor, Max, Danny, and Alyssa all forming to become Power Rangers and stop the evil orgs and Master Org. There's a 6th Ranger named Merrick who is cursed with the wolf mask. He turns into Zanaku, who then destroys the Rangers. But the Rangers are able to destroy the evil in the Predazord, and thus Merrick is good again, and he becomes the 6th Ranger, the Looter Wolf Ranger. And this also happens to have the 10th anniversary special. This actually is 2 crossovers. Not many Power Rangers can stake that claim. Of course, it had its crossover with Time Force, and they stopped the orgs of the future. So you have that. But then there's also the other crossover, Forever Red, which is the 10th anniversary special. And I like this one because it has all 10 Red Rangers together to stop the evil. That is an absolutely terrific, terrific crossover, and I enjoyed it. And it's a great tribute to Power Rangers for its 10th season. They did a tribute on its 15th anniversary too, but quite frankly, it was because it was Operation Overdrive, and quite frankly, that series sucked. Wild Force, though, was a terrific one at that. Number 3, Power Rangers Time Force. This was the season before Wild Force, and man, was it a really good one. Okay, so what's the plot with this one? Rancic has been captured, as well as Nadira. In the future, we're talking the year 3000. But he escapes and travels back to the year 2001. Jen, Lucas, Katie, and Trip have to go back to try and stop him. Unfortunately, the 5th Ranger, Alex, not my creator, there's an actual Ranger named Alex, who got destroyed. Barely survived the attacks. I'll explain it a little later. So his ancestor, Wes, is in the past, and guess what? He's the 5th Ranger, the Red Ranger. So they try and stop him. Then there's the 6th Ranger, Eric, who becomes the Quantum Ranger, and he uses the Q-Rex to help destroy the mutants, who are the villains of the season. And then with its crossover, you had Lightspeed Rescue in there, and they have to stop a super demon. Not to mention its special battle powers are really cool. Wes is actually a knight. I am serious. He is a freaking knight for his battleizer. That is by far kick-ass. So with that, they conquer evil. They lock up all the mutants, and they go back to the past because, well, it affected the future. But Alex is also back. He barely survived the attacks. He sees that the future is altering, so he has to go back to help. Except he's a complete fucking douchebag and realizes this, so he decides to go back to the future and just help from there. All in all, though, this was a terrific season. Number 2, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. Alright, what's the deal with this one? We've got Carter, Chad, Joe, Kelly, and Dana Mitchell, all hired by Operation Lightspeed to protect Mariner Bay. Get it? Because we're talking about water stuff and the Aqua Base as well. They all have specific talents that allow them to become Power Rangers and stop the evil, which in this case are demons. Now, its crossover is arguably not that great. Mainly because the guy who played Leo could not partake his role, nor could Trakina reenact her role because, well, let's face it, a little kid kind of is the main attraction for this one. Quite frankly, it's not a good... It's okay, but not great. There's a 6th Ranger, too, who's also not in the crossover. He's the brother of Dana Mitchell. His name is Ryan, and he becomes the Titanium Ranger. He's been warped by the demons, Queen Banshira and the others, who pretty much say that his father was a dick. And he only cared about his daughter and not him, so hence he has vengeance on his mind. But then he discovers the truth, becomes the 6th Ranger, only to have a cobra on his neck as a curse by Diabolico. He then destroys the cobra, he's free of the curse, then Olympius comes in, he plots vengeance against the Rangers, his mother returns, and they have an epic battle at the end, and obviously the Rangers prevail. The ending is great though, because a fire truck goes by and they're like, you know what, screw it, we're not done yet. Let's just keep on going until the deed is done. This was a terrific season and arguably could be one of the best seasons that Power Rangers has ever had. But the number 1 favorite Power Rangers season of mine is Power Rangers Ninja Storm. By far, that is my favorite Power Rangers, and it's the only one that I saw from start to finish when I watched it as a child. Obviously, I've seen the rest of the Power Rangers growing up, but this was the only one that when it premiered, I watched from start to finish. So, what's the case in this one? We have Shane, Tori, and Dustin, 3 students of the Wind Ninja Academy, who become Power Rangers when Lothar takes the other students and plots a plan to destroy the world. He also has 2 Thunder Rangers who he warped their minds with pure lies. Hunter and Blake Bradley, who happen to be brothers. They are duking it out with the Rangers. They have a fierce rivalry until they realize that, hey, this was all Lothar's evil plan. This is his fault, not the Rangers. There's also a 6th Ranger named Kim, who is the son of Sensei. His name is Kanoi Watanabe. And their story is wonderful. You want to know how Cam gets his powers? This is an absolutely terrific 3-part episode of how Cam gets his powers. He has to go back in time, see his father and his mother in the past, and retrieve the Samurai amulet, which becomes his power to become the Samurai Ranger. And by golly, is it a great 3-parter. So obviously, they gotta stop Lothar from destroying the world, and of course they do. But this was by far my favorite Power Rangers of all time. I mean, there's a lot of bias about it because this is the only one that I saw when it aired from start to finish. But it had a really good plot, really good characters. All of it was just fantastic, and I absolutely enjoyed it. So, if you didn't see a Power Rangers season on my list that you would like to point out, or if you think that there's a Power Rangers season that I mentioned that's higher up or lower than where I put them, feel free to post them in the comments section. I'd love to hear your opinions because Power Rangers is a terrific season or series. I just am ashamed that it hasn't really been that great recently. So feel free to post your opinions on YouTube. I'd love to hear what you think about Power Rangers. I'm the Commander Zander. I remember it's something. It's time for Greg doesn't have to, and neither should you.